I think Amazon is great because you can sell in any country. You don't have to be resident and you don't have that barrier to entry. Sometimes the smaller niches are better. So dig into that first. Look in the hobbies. Look for opportunities within Amazon.
Okay, so in just one click, we can just have a bird eye view and in a tabular form, and we can check out like how many sellers are there having, how they are selling, how much they are selling, what are the reviews, so we can get the data.
Correct. Check the profitability. If I'm buying for £2 and I'm selling for 20, does that work? How many searches are actually being made within Amazon in that country per month? And some of the volumes are phenomenal. So again, checking all of these things initially is a really good thing to do.
Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Uzair from ways2sellonline.com and welcome to the show where we invite the industry experts from the e-commerce industry and discuss a lot of things with them so you guys can actually learn from them and implement those strategies to scale your business. So just like that, in this video, we are having a very special guest with us. Her name is Kelly and she is an award-winning seller into beauty category on Amazon in 2018. So in this video, we will discuss a lot of things with her, like how she got successful on Amazon, and we can actually ask some tips and tricks for new sellers so you guys can implement those on your Amazon business and get successful as well. So Kelly, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Thank you so much for the invite. Love listening to your podcast. Well, not podcast, but your YouTube videos. And thank you very much for the invite.
Okay, great. So thank you for being on the show. So just give your short introduction so all the people who are watching who don't know you can actually know about you. Then we can start discussing something about Amazon.
Okay, so I accidentally started selling products in 2005. I started my own makeup brand with 5 products, and it was really out of my makeover studios that I had. And I started with 5 products. I extended my line over to 200 SKUs, selling also on Amazon. Luckily, I became a multi-award winning brand, and I got to sell my brand in 2018. Learned loads of things on Amazon, what to do, what not to do. And I'd love to share them with you today.
Okay, so as you told me, like you have accidentally started selling on Amazon. So what was the story behind that? Like before Amazon, what you were doing?
Yeah, so we were selling in bricks and mortar stores, department stores, and in our own stores on clients, which, you have to kind of ask permission to be in department stores and wait till they say yes. And then, of course, Amazon came along. And initially, Amazon was kind of looked down upon in the beauty industry. It was like, oh, why would you want to sell on Amazon? When that veil has really changed, that outlook on selling on Amazon, because people realize you can now go direct to consumer. There's no middle person in there. And really, time has evolved. So now we have all the data tools. In a way, it's so much easier because you're not launching a product where you're buying 5,000 products and thinking, oh my gosh, are they going to sell? Now, of course, we have the data. So in some essence, time has helped us in beauty, in other categories. I also sell in other categories now as well and help my students, which is what I've really found the last few years. But I think Amazon is great because you can sell in any country. You don't have to be resident and you don't have that barrier to entry. Whereas when I started in department stores, you had to wait till the buyers thought your product was right for their store.
Okay, great. So why you started selling initially in beauty category and right now in which category you are selling? And if I ask you a question like for the new seller who are thinking to start, so how do they know like which category is best for them?
So I think, obviously, I took what I learned in beauty and I've taken that across category, and also with my students, I help them. And I'm really passionate about them finding something that they can sell. I don't want them to fall in love with the product if it's not the right product, but if they know a lot about something in an area that they specialize in, it's really interesting to try and dig into that niche or their niche, because if you know more about something than anybody else, chances are you can make the product perfect and much better. So if someone's thinking about starting on Amazon, when you get a research tool, which you need to do, obviously I recommend AMZ Scout because I love using their tools, but you can use any of the research tools. But really do your research and start by looking at your hobbies, start by looking at things you know a lot about. So perhaps if you know, for instance, a lot about bird watching or fly fishing, or don't worry about thinking that you don't know a lot about a niche that maybe everybody wants to get into. Sometimes the smaller niches are better. So dig into that first. Look in the hobbies. Look for opportunities within Amazon and almost use the data because a lot of people initially, they kind of go with their heart, not their head. You have to check your profit margins. You have to check the competition. A lot of mistakes that I see and I try and stamp out with my students is not checking the analyzing tools, making sure before you even go on to ordering samples of products, check the profitability. If I'm buying for £2 and I'm selling for 20, does that work? Don't get into the category where you're falling in love with the product, you're trying to think about selling it when you haven't even checked the profit margins. Check the competitions. What's happening? Is it already saturated? And also, gut instinct is great, but data will always lead. So it's almost like reverse engineering, and that's really where I've seen MPD change, the new product development over the years. It's really starting with data first and reverse engineering then into brand and product.
Okay, so how we can actually find the keyword, like good keywords, good product, how we can do product research, and how AMZ Scout can actually help us in doing the product research?
Yeah, so I use AMZ Scout and they've got a new AI tool now, which is phenomenal. And what I find is you can utilize these tools to really look at competitors, almost to grab their keywords that they're ranking for. There's a really great reverse ASIN lookup tool. There's great products within AMZ Scout where you can look up, you can see exactly what your competitors ranking for, you can add them to your listing. And this now has really been simplified as well through AI because it really does sort of analyze the emerging niches too and the trends, whereas before not so much. So I think making sure that you subscribe to a tool is an absolute must if you're really going to take the most out of your Amazon business.
Okay, so tool can actually save you a lot of time and actually help you to make good decision and go with the right product, because right product is important.
1,000,000%, 1,000,000%. For me, I have so many phone calls where people have made mistakes, that they've launched products and they're wondering why it doesn't work. They haven't actually analyzed the product. They haven't done the research. Do you know probably about 70% of sellers that haven't joined my program but have started to sell on Amazon haven't even done any branding, haven't even looked at the sample.
Yes.
So that's really the basics. And I would say it's super important to get the basics right.
So basically product research and analyzing is a basic building block, and all the success depends on this. And 90% seller who are fail or they don't use the product research rightly.
Correct.
Okay, so what strategy does AMZ Scout recommend for finding high demand and low competition product? Like you had told about like AMZ Scout AI tool. So how this tool is different and like how we can find high demand, low competition products?
Okay, simply by using the tool gives you great indicators because you can find an overall niche score. So from the initial Pro Extension tool, you can literally find great niches. And if you've got a green score over 7 up to 10, really, really good. It gives you a quick look at a category, at a niche. You've got also indicators like the PL score. The PL scores are really, really good because obviously it gives you a higher score is better. So that's really, really good. Other things that I would look at is not having products that are seasonal when you start. Going after more evergreen products is a really good tip because obviously we want to get consistent sales all throughout the year, and if obviously we've got products that are seasonal, we get the products into stock, then we've got to try and sell them, then we're keeping them in stock.
Okay, so what about the mistakes, like mistakes which are common mistakes for the new seller?
So as I said, like pricing strategy, competitors, and keyword optimization is really probably the 3 that are the most common mistakes. So that's what I would say.
Okay, so what do you say about like adding a unique selling point in products? Like for example, if somebody finalize a product and he want to sell, so to stand out in the competition, what he can do? Like maybe adding a unique selling point, maybe lowering down the price or making good quality, or how can he may differentiate the product from others?
Yeah, that's a great question. And actually, this is something with my students that we really, really focus on because, whether they take my online course or they come into me on a one-to-one, we really look at like niching down and how can we improve something. So for instance, like if it was, I don't know, let's take for instance, a blanket or a bag, we'd analyze the market and look at what people are really enjoying in the category, enjoying with that product. But it's not adding something just for the sake of it to say, oh, this has got an additional bag. It's really looking at what does the user use this product for? How can we improve that usability? So for instance, if we wanted to add an extra pocket, or maybe we thought like everybody's always got their phone. So is there a way, or is there something we can add to make when they're using this product more convenient? So I suppose it's trying to find like how do we differentiate and make this better, not just adding for the sake of adding. Obviously you can look at the frequently brought together. Sometimes that can give you clues. Sometimes you might put a bundle together, and then other things are more straightforward because people are complaining about them, so you can just improve them. But that's kind of like talked about so much, and I think people understand that. So it's really looking about differentiation points that can bring something to the brand. So people say, oh God, that's amazing. So like there's a brand, I won't say their name, but when they do the charging cables, they have like a really cool way that they wrap round a tidy, and it's kind of made really nice, like almost leather. So again, it's like taking things to the new dimension and becoming known for that, really niching down on that particular genre and really getting known for being the person that does that best. So rather than doing lots of things kind of okay and waiting for one of them to do well, it's almost really shining a light and really magnifying what you're doing and looking at how you can make it better, like you said, better quality, making it, improving it. And what I also like to do, some of my students have actually made a completely unique product. So we've actually tooled a mold for the product, and that way you can guarantee that nobody else is going to have that product. This is a sure way to stay out in front of the competition. So when you can actually open up a mold and tool your own product, that's fantastic.
Okay, great. So with Amazon constantly evolving, like how does AMZ Scout stay updated to provide sellers with the most relevant data and insights?
Well, there's a number of ways. I mean, using their tools, they're constantly cross-checking their data. It's updated from live sales, as you know, but they're constantly cross-checking their data to make sure the feeds are correct. For me, I think this new AI tool is going to be super impressive. I mean, I've already played with it. It's not available to everybody yet. There's only 5 of us that have use of it. And it's really incredible in terms of what it's given you for competitor, emerging niches, trends. That's really where I thought, wow, this is really going to take this whole Amazon business to the next level. It can suggest complete improvements on your products. So if you're selling a product and you need to add a case and variants, it will tell you exactly what you need to add. It's just pulling all the data from everywhere and becoming more smart, more intelligent. And of course, I think things like don't underestimate, like I said before, profit margins and make sure you're running the data. People like AMZ Scout, they have all the data on pricing, on FBA fees, like run the data on your product. Make sure that your product's going to be profitable, because you don't want to get to a stage where you've improved the product, you've got a great niche, you've got this amazing product, this brand, but actually you're not going to make any money. So again, sometimes you have to eliminate from the research right in the very beginning. If you're tracking 20 products, you might eliminate 10 just on doing the work on the research tool. You might not even get to sample stage or improvement stage, because If it's not profitable, then you haven't passed that green light, that system to move forward. And that's something that I'm very hot on in teaching, to make sure that it actually works on paper before you start putting it into, into practice.
Okay, so that was about like product research and how we can beat the competition. But before launching a product, like what things we have to check? Like, do we need to do some kind of market research, and how AMZ Scout actually help?
So what's great on AMZ Scout is a product database tool. You can really do your research here. You can look into all different products. You can analyze all different kinds of products, of course. You can do the competitor research there. You can also take the ASINs, do all of the analyzing there. And of course, having that accuracy of data is super, super important, because it allows us to really, really double check what our competitors are doing. Pulling the ASINs, looking at what they're doing, look at the different size options, their variants, their colors, really digging deep into that, setting up a separate spreadsheet just to kind of keep that data or that CSV file, and really looking into all of those things with your competitor. But AMZ Scout have a whole suite of tools. So within, you've got the Pro extension, you've got now the AI tool, but you've also got things like, your simple product database, you've got your trend reports, you've got your ASIN reverse lookups, you've got all of those tools that can really, really help you with your analysis. So I would say use all of them, going there and step by step, use all the tools to help you.
Okay, so you talk about like AMZ Scout Chrome extension. So can you let us know like what is this and how we can help us, like how we can use it or what advantage we can take?
Absolutely. So the Chrome extension, the Pro extension, you have to be in Chrome to download it. You get, I think it's about 6 free initial trials. What I like to do is install it on my toolbar at the top. And then what you're really looking to do is to go into the Amazon that you're searching for. So say, for instance, I wanted to sell in the US. You can sell in lots of different countries. You don't have to be resident. Sometimes there are tax criterias. So for instance, I would go into Amazon.com if I wanted to sell there, simply search the product that you're looking for, and then you hit the Chrome extension. If you saved it on your toolbar, it's really simple. What that does then is it pulls the live data, and again, it's cross-checking all their data all of the time with their relevant data points. And you can simply see by checking what sellers are selling, what product, how much they're making a month. You can see what they're paying for FBA fees, so what's being deducted from every single sale. You can see where their ranking is. You can see how many reviews they've got, the review count, their listing quality score, their LQS, how long they've been selling for, literally if they're fulfilled by Amazon, FBA, FBM, so much data. And then underneath that, if you drop down the menu, you can see literally their profit calculator, add to tracker, now the AI booster. There's so much information right there for you. Not forgetting the niche scores, the PL scores, and all the indicators.
Okay, so in just one click, we can just have a bird eye view and in a tabular form, and we can check out like how many sellers are there having, how they are selling, how much they are selling, what are the reviews, so we can get the data.
Correct. And it's
That's
really
amazing.
phenomenal. Yeah, it is phenomenal.
Okay, so for every new seller, it is an amazing thing.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
So we have seen that sometimes when someone want to sell any particular product, and when they search on Amazon for that product, so they can see multiple designs, like people are offering different designs for the same product. So in that case, how someone can actually know like which design is like hot selling and which we need to sell?
So what's really good is when you go to the Pro extension and you click on it and it brings up all the data, there's loads and loads of indicators. So it gives you, on AMZ Scout, we have something called hot. So if it's got a hot by it, we know that the sales have increased over 20% in the last 3 months. So that's something to look at. That's one indicator. Another indicator is obviously the overall niche score. But then down the column where it says score for PL, private label, you'll see anything over a 7 and above, so 7, 8, 9, 10, green, will give us a very good indication of which products are really high in demand. Of course, the ones with the green score you need to dig into and see. So they might be different price points, there might be different offerings, but also you've got then the general keyword search. So in the product database, you can go and look at like the keywords. Once you've done the reverse async lookups, you can see what kind of volume, and also just typing in the keyword search, like how much volume do these keywords have? So have they got 20,000, 30,000, 40,000? Is it 100,000? So you can kind of start to see and save the keywords in the CSV file, like how many searches are actually being made within Amazon in that country per month. And some of the volumes are phenomenal. So again, checking all of these things initially is a really good thing to do.
Great. So you tell about like we can actually sell on Amazon in multiple countries. We don't have to be a resident there. So for example, if a person is having a product launch in one country where he is living and that product is doing good, and now he want to launch another product, so what will be a good strategy? Like, do he need to sell another product in the same country or launch the same product in other country?
Okay, so it completely depends on the product research. So you have to, if you've got a great product selling in England, for instance, when you do the research in the States, it might not work. The indicators might say, oh no, this is oversaturated. So it may be that when you do the research again in the UK, it's better there. Now, it depends completely. If you make, for instance, like a really good product and you do the initial research up front in both countries and you realize actually this could work in the US and the UK and Germany and UAE, then it's a matter of getting the product right, and then you could just launch one product and launch it in different countries. In the UK, we're about 10 times smaller than the US. We're about 5 times smaller than Germany. On average, of course, every category does change, but some people like to try first in a smaller country, get the product right, get the reviews, everything correct, and then they may launch in another country. Other people might want to just launch a whole range and then do that in another country. So it really depends on the wider brand plan. Like, what do you want to achieve with your brand? What do you want to achieve overall? Do you want to have it just in one country? Do you want to just go for the figures? Many of my students have a financial goal. That's what's driving them. So they basically find a product that's going to work across border, and they'll just sell 1 or 2 products, get to their financial freedom figure, and then that's what they'll really focus on. So it really comes back to what do you want as an individual or as a brand in terms of revenue, turnover, profit, ultimately.
Okay, so the next question is about getting sales and then getting profit. Like, I have seen that many of the people are having sales, but they are not having enough sales so they can be profitable. So how can someone set the goals to get profitable and more profitable?
Okay, so really good question. When you first launch an Amazon product, again, we've checked the profit calculator. So I tend to start at a higher price product. So initially, I don't sell anything under £30, like 40 US dollars. And often we sell products over £100, £200 because the profit margins are much bigger. And you have to sell less product to make more money. I think that gone are the days of selling $5, $10 products because it's very crowded. When people think about selling on Amazon, they often think cheapest is best because you can buy for 50 cents and sell for a few dollars. And I think that's where we've seen Amazon becoming very, very crowded, especially with the emergence of the factories selling themselves direct. So I think, again, brand differentiation, selling higher price point to begin with, allows us to make more margin from the beginning, obviously checking the profit calculator, and then looking at pricing strategies. So we know initially Amazon is a medium to long-term business. It's not something that you're going to launch the next day and be a multimillionaire. It's a longer-term strategy. So initially, obviously, we do early reviewer programs, we subscribe to, and we do things like maybe an influencer program. We get all the eyeballs, we start to build up the momentum in terms of waking up the algorithm and getting more views on the product. And ultimately the good reviews are going to bring us more sales as well. So we've got our ads running, we've got our organic rank lifting, and over time we come to page 1. Now, initially you can feel like the seesaw is highly tipped in terms of, lots of cost. and the profit may not be profitable or as profitable initially. However, with the pricing strategy and the brand plan in place, over time you should see that profit margin increasing, and over time you should see more money in your pocket. Once the reviews there, once the sales have began, once people are trusting in your product and you're building a following, then the sales come, the brand builds, and the profit increases. So I would say with an Amazon private label fulfilled by Amazon brand, you need to look more mid-long term. You need to choose a price at a higher price point. You need to do that research initially and make sure that you've got a product that is giving you enough margin to be able to use the Prime days, to be able to use all the promotions as well. And you should be fine. Over time, you will build more and more profit in your product.
That's great. So what are the basic or main driving factors for sales? Like if someone want more conversion or more sales, so on which factor they have to focus on to get more sale, so their listing can actually get more conversion and more sales or maybe more ranking?
I would say having somebody working completely. In our agency, we have 3 people working constantly on ads, all of our brands. So I think you have to have robust ad strategies in place, starting off with basic ads and then, doing the keyword targeting, taking out the negative keywords, but then building different kinds of ads, whether it's display ads, whether it's video, a whole ad strategy. So making sure every day you've got someone inside your campaign manager managing those ads. That's super, super important. Obviously, making sure, as I said before, you've got the margin to play for the Prime days and the promotions, and basically just making sure you're tracking everything all of the time. Do you need to renew your listings? Do you need to, what are your competitors doing? Do you need to add more infographics? Have you got videos? Do you need to add an unboxing? Do you need to be pushing more traffic into Amazon? So it's not a business that you can just launch and forget about. It's a business that you need to work on. And I think if you want to build your brand beyond Amazon, even into other stores, even into selling it eventually, you need to be really inside your Amazon store and, focusing on all of the things that the customer's seeing, but also optimizing your listings, your ads, your imagery, your video. Like, how can you be improving your LQS over time? So it's something that is constant and never ending improving. It's something you always need to work upon.
Okay, so how important is this for a brand to grow outside of Amazon? Like if they're selling some products on Amazon, so is it important for them to just promote their products on other platforms like Google, Shopify, or Instagram?
I think that initially it's really different because obviously we work with brands that are just on Amazon, and then we work across brands across strategy, including my own. So I also sell in bricks and mortar stores as well as on Amazon, and sometimes it's an either or. Sometimes it can be an exclusive online, sometimes it can be exclusive Amazon, and then there are times where products might run cross platforms. I think with most of the brands and most of the sellers that I work with, there's always a strategy long term to push them towards their own stores, because when they're pushing them to own stores, ultimately they're going to be making more margin. So it seems to be eventually that everybody wants to build that, whether it's a product where they can register for a guarantee after buying on Amazon to bring them back to their own store, whether it's a longer term play to get more margin, just simply more margin, more money, whether it's to build that brand loyalty. Ultimately, most of the brands I see are pushing on Amazon initially where most of the customers are, because obviously we have over 3 million products being brought a day. So it makes sense to push the eyeballs there first and the product there. But for some more higher end, more premium products, they may just use Amazon for a few of their products. They may not offer all of their products on Amazon, and it may be more of a strategic play to put them to their Shopify stores or their WordPress stores.
Okay, so how important brand registry is on Amazon? Like when someone is a generic seller or brand registered seller, so they are having some features. So if someone is new, so do you recommend them to go for the brand registry or start selling without it?
I recommend always selling with it, and I tell you why, because there's so many problems on Amazon that you can come up against from getting your account deactivated, and a lot of them can be around allegations that you've infringed someone's trademark. So I would always recommend getting your trademark in place, because if you get it in the right category, niching down on that category, you can have so many more features, as you've said. You can have the store within it, the A+ content, you can have videos. It just makes your protection as well so much more on Amazon. So brand registry, having the trademark in place is super, super important. For someone in the UK, you can do it directly on the government website for £170. It's £50 a class, each one you add. In the States, obviously, you can use the IP accelerator, so you can start using that straight away. So I would always go for the trademark, the brand registry, just for the amount of features you get and the protection from Amazon's perspective.
Okay, so if you get more features, so you will be able to compete in the market in a more better way.
Absolutely, 1,000,000%. And you can use, like, videos convert way better in ads a lot of the time. So just by conversions, how you can impact your sales, often they're so much better. The ACOS and your TACOS, so much better with videos.
Okay, so as you are an award-winning seller in beauty category, so I have seen that some people hesitate to sell in beauty category because of the restriction, because there are some products, especially in beauty and baby category, which are restricted, and it's easy for them to sell in other category like kitchen or sports. So how did you deal with that? Like, if someone want to sell a product, so how they can get approval?
Yeah, so absolutely. If you're looking to do personal care in any way, whether it's beauty, makeup, skincare, obviously I'm here, so look me up. I'm happy to help you. I've done so much of it. But you have to go by the laws. So in cosmetics, we have a portal in GB, Great Britain, and also in EU that you have to be registered upon. You also have to have the full PIF file, which is the product information file, and the CPSR, which is basically the cosmetic safety report. And what that is making sure, because obviously the skin is the largest organ, so making sure anything we put on and within our body is totally safe. So it's set out to be regulated to make sure that it's completely safe. It's absolutely needed. But if you follow all the steps and you use a factory that follows also all the regulations, with skincare and supplements and makeup and all of that, I tend to, if you're working on a UK brand, I'll make within the UK. If we're working in the US or the EU, in the relevant countries like Germany, France, US, because again, you don't need to farm this out to the Far East. We have perfectly great factories in our own countries that can do this, bring it to market a lot quicker, and also they know our legislation. So that's a top tip that I would recommend. If you are wanting to do stuff in Far East, that's also fine. But again, you just need to make sure you're working with factories that have international standards, that work to all the correct accreditations. And again, personal care is it's a massive beast, but done correctly, the margins are really there. Obviously, the minimum order quantity, so your MOQ is normally higher to start with, which puts a lot of people off. But if you've got the product right and you've got the research right, you can really do wonders in these categories.
Great. So what's one of the most underrated feature in AMZ Scout that seller often overlook but can drastically improve their results?
Ooh, I can only choose one.
You can just tell anyone.
Well, I've got my money on the new AI tool. This is a game changer. Literally, we're recording this in October, but after, I think from November, it's going to be available on the market. I've got my eyes on it and my hands on it right now.
Okay.
It's literally gonna change Amazon and the way we work, in terms of it's going to close down the time. So I would say this for me is the biggest thing I've seen to date in research, in emerging niches, in trends, in everything. I would say the AI tool is going to change everything.
Okay, so all of those people who are having AMZ Scout, they will be able to access that tool next month.
Yeah, I think it's coming next month, and it's phenomenal.
Okay, great. So it's a unique feature of AMZ Scout which no other tool is providing.
Not that I've seen, and I think it's going to put it really, really on the map.
Okay, so what would be your best advice for sellers planning to launch their store in next year, like 2025, and considering the current e-commerce landscape?
Okay, Always do your product research. Do not go with your heart. Go with the numbers. So definitely start with your research. I would say niche down. Find yourself a niche and be well known for it. So like if it's safety cameras or if it's bird watching or if it's, I don't know, whatever you find where there's a nice little opening for you, I would say niche into it, brand name, everything to do with that niche so people know that you specialize. And then I would just use the AI tool, use the product, like literally use all the tools that you can, competitor analysis, and just really go for it. Make sure the branding looks brilliant. Make sure the product is A1. Remember, customer is always king. Amazon really look after their customers. So if there's anything shoddy about your product, they're going to find out. So you better address that right now. And just, focus on one thing at a time. Don't try and launch like 5 different products and think, I'm just going to de-risk myself and launch 5 products. Get in on one and just make it amazing. And then eventually with the right keywords and all the analysis, you will win, because over time, people will find your products, how amazing they are, and you will win. And that is what it's about. So get into a niche down or niche down if you're in the States, and just really figure out a room for yourself and just get well known in category, become brand dominant, and people will follow you and want to be buying your brand instead of someone else's.
Amazing. So for any Amazon seller, how important is this to keep an eye on the competitors? Because right now if he launched a product, so he had done the competitor analysis. So how important is for him to keep analyzing competitor, like keep checking competitor every week, every month, like at what price they are selling, what actually they are offering?
Yeah, well, the new AI tool actually, you can go in and you can look at like products, like it will give you like literally it will say you can improve your product like this. So I think having that installed is going to keep an eye on everything on your products. It's always good to check your competitors. But what I would say, if you focus more on your own brand in terms of like what's your unique selling features, like what's your USP over someone else's, yes, someone can copy you, but if you're always leading the way in terms of technology or you have your point of difference, then it's really hard for someone to keep trying to copy you all the time. It's going to get pretty exhausting. And eventually, like if people use your products and love it, they're going to look it up next time. So I think always in any business, whether you're in a supermarket business, a department store business, a hairdressing business, of course, there's always going to be competitors because that's the nature of the beast. And people tend to copy rather than create. I always get my students to try and innovate, not imitate, because for me, it's about how can we innovate in this category? We're not looking to just knock this bestseller off his top, off the perch. We're looking to bring something new. So it's constant improvement. Like I said, once you launch a product, it's not like, I've got this product now, I'm just going to like get the money from this. It's about, okay, what comes next? Is it the next product? Is it a line extension? Is it a new fabric? Is it a new size? Is it a new, I don't know, like there's so many things you can do with a product. I've just found a product for one of my clients and it's like from one product that I found them, there's like 20 nuances that we can do. We can offer different sizes, different materials, different functions, different features. So just niche into a category and then look at like, it's almost like a fan. It's like opening it out and going, okay, where can we take it? What can we do? And how can we be different? And then, you look at any great brand, look at Apple, look at, Philips, look at Panasonic, look at any brand. What they've done is they've found a category and they've just niched into it. And they're not trying to be everything to everybody. They're trying to be one great solution. And that is what you need to do.
Yeah, so if we want to make a big brand, so we need to keep working on the things, keep working to improve things like launching new variations and try to find out where the things happen wrongly. So we need to correct.
You're right, 1,000,000%.
So what is the future of Amazon in your eyes? Like, and how AMZ Scout is planning to evolve to meet the needs of seller in next 5 years?
Well, obviously I can't speak for AMZ Scout because they are their own brand, but taking into consideration what they're just launching with the AI, I have no doubt that like all the new tech is just going to help us more and more and more and more. And it's going to put distance between ours and other sellers. Amazon's landscape is very bright. Amazon are opening new countries all of the time. So what I would say is always look also outside of your country, because sometimes there's like the UAE, for instance, or there's other countries where you can get early entry to a category. So although it may be small initially, if you're there from the beginning, you're going to have more sales in the longevity of time. So I would say future of Amazon is very bright.
So what was your turning point in your journey as a seller, like when you felt that your Amazon business had truly taken off?
I think when I go back to the beginning in my Amazon business, what surprised me is my best sellers in the department stores weren't always my best sellers on Amazon, but I suppose my turning point began when I found key products that really did amazing. So like some eyebrow products, lashes, some different products around sort of all throughout the year, but really key gifting season. That was really turning points for me to say, how can I offer this gifting solution all year round? And that really was the turning point for me, almost sometimes bundling, putting combinations together, offering something that was a complete solution for people so they didn't have to faff around with buying this here, buying that. And just, taking the learnings and seeing what people really like, because people really speak up for the stuff that they love. So sometimes what you think is going to work doesn't always work. It's other combinations, other products. And that was really the turning point for me, just hearing back from what the consumers were really loving and that transparency, and then being able to offer those solutions. So that for me was kind of one of my biggest learns, I would say.
Okay, that's great. So at last, if someone want to contact you, like to take the help from your students, so how they can actually contact you and how you can actually help them?
Yeah, so you can find me Kelly Colman, Colman, kellycolman.com, or through LinkedIn. On my homepage on my website, you can see all my testimonials from my students. Also through Instagram at Kelly Colman Official. That's Kelly Colman, Colman, and Kelly with a Y. And how I help my students is various ways. I have an online program, and I also do group monthly calls with that and WhatsApp support. Or on a one-to-one basis, but that's by appointment only, and it's very, very exclusive because I can only offer a couple of spots a month. So just look me up. If I can help you, even if you've just got a question, look me up and I will see what I can do to help you.
Okay, great. So I think that's it for today. I have got the answer of all the questions, which are general questions people ask me in the comment box. So you have given the answer of all questions in a very understandable manner, so everyone can actually get the help from those answers, right?
Brilliant.
Okay, so thank you, Kelly. Thank you for being on the show and share your information.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Zara. I really look forward to catching up with you again soon. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you really enjoyed the video and learned something great from it. So if you find my content really informative and helpful for you, then make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel as well, so you can watch more and more videos like this in future. Let's meet in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye.